Dragonfolly. Near the close of the Draconic era, there are records of the impure dragon species. Wyverns, basilisks, pigrons, and the like are documented, though none are sure exactly how they came to be. To this day, scholars argue over the true names and lineages of these creatures. Names aside, it is clear the first offshoots are pure enough to retain the great strength of their forebears. Naturally, this led them to be targeted by cruel divine mandates, and most were hunted to extinction. It is known that fishrons, follies, and the abyssal worms survived the purging hunts of the deific era. Notably, they now are all reclusive or exceedingly violent. It is tragic how they evolved to be that way. The Profaned Guardians. The Guardians are rather simple constructs, extensions of the profaned goddess power. They are given partial autonomy to hunt down threats, and are rarely seen outside of temples sanctified in her name. She has been attempting to expand her domain. It is of no surprise she sees you as her largest threat to that. After all, it was you that finished off the star-spawned horror that catalyzed the downfall of the dragons. Draw her out from hiding. Have no mercy, for the profaned goddess shows none herself. Providence, the profaned goddess. A glorious day. Deeds of valor of this caliber are enshrined in legend. Of this age only the witch, Braylor, and myself can compare. Providence was perhaps one of the wickedest gods. Hell-bent on purification through erasure, her worshippers saw little value in life. Pain was not a price they felt justified to pay. The profaned goddess promised her followers she would end inequality by reducing all to featureless ash. Those devoted to her were weak-willed, yet she reigned as one of the mightiest gods. Perhaps it was their easily swayed nature that let her draw so much power from them. Signus, an aberration that defies all explanation. Born of the distortion and revered by the Onyx kinsmen. Almost all information about this entity is sourced from that enigmatic clan. All else is hearsay. It has been reported to manifest in multiple places at once. Its capacity for deceit and ruthless cunning is peerless. Status compatriot Braylor dueled me to a standstill. With our blades locked, the Ronin lunged for the lethal blow. The Devourer is not one for honor or loyalty, but he sensed weakness, hesitation, an easy prey. The serpent ensnared both my assailants in a dimensional vortex, assuring me they were as good as dead. Yet Status must have struck a bargain with Signus. He escaped his banishment unscathed. Stormweaver. This beast, while of lesser stature than the Devourer, is a great danger in its own right. They are clearly of the same species. Even this serpent was known to devour wyverns whole. Very little is known about the realm or space that the Great Devourer hails from. Even Draedon and his obsessive research has been unable to discern its true nature. The Weaver slipped through a rift from this place opened by the Devourer, and he has monitored it since. In his mind, the Lesser Serpent's similar powers could lead it to be too threatening for him to let live. Little does he know, he has forever stood in a similar position. He thinks himself invincible after all. Ceaseless Void. A contained, previously inert portal sealed in the dungeon. The presiding cult kept it a closely guarded secret. Upon sighting the Devourer of Gods, their leader hurriedly led me to its chamber to reveal its existence to me. The portal led to the Devourer's home. It was identical to his, only ancient and perfectly stable. The serpent claimed it too was his creation. Its permanence was a mistake he later rectified. But this rift was unquestionably far older than he. It had dated back to the golden age of dragons. His lie was thin and forced. Something far more powerful than the Devourer was at hand. Its eerie presence gnawed at my mind. It did not just threaten me, it threatened everyone. Everything. Even when faced with blatant lies and harrowing danger, I simply walked away and did not return. Polterghast. The further my war dragged on, the further I sank into negligence. This specter is the crux of my failure. I hid behind my excuses, calling them duties. Fighting the gods, training, ruling. I had the time and resources to devote. I was simply paralyzed by apathy. The scores of prisoners I kept in the dungeon I claimed perished alongside their jailers. Within those hexed walls, none may know rest. Their souls coalesced into a formless monster, boiling with rage, wallowing in sorrow, screaming in madness. The amalgamation was uncontrollable. The dragon cult was furious, their leader demanding I put the haunt down myself. I did not answer. I had long since become deaf to the world outside my crusade. Do not fall as I have. The old Duke. That was possibly one of the oldest mundane living beings on the face of the planet. The first Fishrons were spotted in the middle of the Draconic era. What exotic prestige. Fishrons were one of the original offshoots of pure-blooded auric dragons. They are so old and venerated that many historians are convinced they are the original sea monsters of folklore. This particular duke's guile is self-evident. It evaded centuries of hunting, and until now had survived a most thorough poisoning. Above almost all others, this creature was a living fable. One must wonder what goes through the mind of a fading legend. The Devourer of Gods. The infamous, otherworldly glutton in the flesh. His imposing title was self-granted, but undeniable truth made it stick. He is a formidable foe, capable of swallowing gods whole, absorbing their essence in its entirety. I ordered Draedon to armor his gargantuan form, so he could safely best even the greater gods in single combat. Fittingly, he possessed a serpent's tongue. He manipulated me incessantly, driving me to awful acts. I recruited him out of desperation. My war had dragged on for decades, and I would do anything to have it end. It was then my negligence was born. My descent began the moment recruiting this scoundrel crossed my mind. His absence of loyalty was clear as day, even at the time. However, I suspect it goes beyond that. The Devourer's alien capabilities and domineering tactics hint that his allegiance lay elsewhere. Is he but one soldier? A mere pawn of a malevolence far beyond? Yharon, Resplendent Phoenix. The return of the Age of Dragons. Dash. Just like that, it is but ashes in the wind. Yharon was the last of the Auric dragons. As a phoenix, his domain of power includes rebirth. The gods thought him culled with the rest of his kind, but he returned as an egg, hidden on the Eyrie. I was destined to consume his auric soul when he hatched, and rule forever as God King. Destiny is for the weak. I rejected their whims and upended their scheme. I was sentenced to execution for treason. Their meek, ingratiated swine cast both Yharon's egg and I into the magma of hell. The intense heat hideously scarred me, but birthed Yharon anew. He rose, wreathed in fire, and saved my life. From that day our souls were one. He shared with me the tale of Zarathos and the genocide of his kind. I promised him I would have justice. So the war began, Yharon rallying all as a beacon of hope. Now that hope is long withered. I am but a husk of the hero I once was, and this is the ultimate proof. Yharon may yet return, as he does, but he has bade me farewell. The Exo Mechanical Trio. What a terrifying marvel of engineering. Graedon's specialty always lay in the machines of war, but these are immaculate. His bold claim that no god can match his work is, however, incorrect. He is not privy to the traitor Almighty. Regardless, from steel and wit alone he has forged engines of destruction that rival Calamitas. It brings me little comfort to remark that even she, at least, has a heart to speak of. Graedon is an amoral monster beyond compare. He is entirely devoid of humanity and compassion. With technology this incomprehensibly advanced, he stands at the precipice of apotheosis. He can fabricate such dreadful, synthetic nightmares at will. His resources must be nigh unlimited. Were he to lose his temper, if he even has one, all of life's hopes would be smothered in an instant, silenced by a torrent of silicon. Though, perhaps you may leverage his unimaginable craft to your advantage, and seek insight from him. Calamitas. None have borne the brunt of misfortune quite like the Brimstone Witch, Calamitas. When I first saw her, she was still a girl, prostrated in my court, garbed in charred rags as she trembled. I could not grasp the unfathomable, raw power of the fell magics that coursed through her. She could scant control it herself. Permafrost recognized this immediately. With a pained face, he counseled me to look after her. The witch entered his tutelage, and soon after, my service. She was ablaze with desire to douse the gods in her wicked wrath. Indeed, the faithful already quaked in her presence. Her name was a moniker of theirs, one uttered quietly in fear. In my campaigns, I counted on her sheer capacity for annihilation as my ace in the hole. No man, army, city, or god could stand against her unbridled fury. Eventually, the girl's horrific sin was too much for her to bear. She left my side along with her mentor. The weight of her deeds haunts her to this day. She despises me, and I cannot blame her. Please, if you would, show her respect where I did not. Cynosure, you now stand at the brink of infinity. The power you have amassed is extraordinary. Valor and deceit, truth and falsehood, loyalty and betrayal. You are beyond these notions. You have rent all asunder as they crossed your path. The very land now bends to your will. Do you not see how the grass parts beneath your step? How the stars illuminate at your gaze? Terraria itself kneels to you, whether it be out of fear or respect. This is the strength the dragons held, the primordial power they commanded. Little stands between us now. If you did not seek battle with me, I doubt you would have come so far. When you are prepared, seek the grave of the light at the summit of the Dragon Eyrie. I await your challenge. Godseeker, if you are reading this, you have overpowered me. That you may have spared me, as you did the witch, I find difficult to imagine. If there was anything left of the hero I once was, but power and stubbornness, I doubt it could be dredged up from beneath my sins. By now you have overturned every instrument of my regime. A throne sits empty, overseeing a toppled cabinet, and you, inscrutable you, have proven by your mighty deeds that you alone hold authority to dictate your story. What is left for you? Will you fulfill my crusade and conclude the gods' extinction? Can you surpass me in more than strength? Will your journey have you salvage what remains of this world? Might you, perhaps at last, redress that most ancient and festering grievance? Your final chapter is left untold, and all of Terraria waits with bated breath. Whatever you choose, you will burn your name into legend immortal.